a great time to be a Republican. By putting up with one little compromised Russian asset as president, they get to be as cruel to women, poor people, and people of color as they've always wished on that first star they could be. And now all their forced birth dreams are about to come true.
Big news from the United States Supreme Court. Justice Anthony Kennedy, known as the crucial swing vote, will retire on July 31st.
Over the years, he's sometimes sided with conservatives, other times with liberals. He upheld Roe v. Wade in 1992.
Yep, Kennedy gave us the old Beltway goodbye, where you slip out during the party and take everyone's reproductive rights with you. Not to be confused with the Kennedy goodbye, which is when you let a woman drown in a car. He did it, not me. The only upside to this horrible news is that if it's making Ruth Bader Ginsburg half as mad as I am, her workouts must be more intense than ever. Stay swole, RBG. We need you. Judge Kavanaugh is everything Donald Trump dreams of when he's not dreaming of overcooked steaks and women to cheat on his wife with. Not only has Kavanaugh equated banning assault rifles to banning free speech, he also has signaled that sitting presidents shouldn't be indicted or investigated. Pretty convenient for a president whose own investigation has now lasted 427 days. That's 426 more days than he spent alone with Don Jr. But one of the most radical ways Kavanaugh is expected to reshape the court is on abortion rights. Technically, he's never ruled on Roe v. Wade, so conservatives say we're being silly to assume he would overturn it.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to overturn Roe versus Wade. A lot of conservatives would like to see it overturned.
When Brett Kavanaugh gets sworn in, it doesn't automatically get overturned, right? That's not how the court works.
I think it's a bit of a scare tactic and rank speculation more than anything else.
The idea that people are going to die because of this, that abortion will become illegal everywhere, is hysterical and overstated.
Well, I wasn't hysterical before Brit Hume told me not to be, but now I'm having 10 periods simultaneously. Look, Brittany, if you're gonna call us crazy bitches, maybe don't use a word that literally means suffering of the womb. All the Republicans have done for years is rail against abortion, and now suddenly we're hysterical for taking them at their word? We weren't born yesterday, and even if we were, we'd still see through you because you were saying it until yesterday.
I'm pro-life. The judges will be pro-life.
I am pro-life, and I will be appointing pro-life judges.
Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, that will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court.
I know you're opposed to abortion.
Right. I'm pro-choice.
You're pro-choice or pro-life?
I'm pro-life, I'm sorry.
Damn it! Imagine if Jake Tapper just hadn't corrected him. We'd have tremendous abortions, the best abortions, though they'd probably have to be performed by this guy, and he still thinks babies come out your butt. And yes, I know Trump is a compulsive liar, so it's easy to dismiss what he said, but Supreme Court picks are serious business to the people who are pulling his strings. People like the Federalist Society, the right-wing organization that assembles the list of acceptable Republican judges. It's how we ended up with Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh rather than Justices Gary Busey and Grimace. It's a shame, because we really missed out on some glorious dissenting opinions. The Federalist Society's list is kind of like the Vanity Fair Hollywood issue, but for the conservative judicial field. I mean, at least Vanity Fair includes black people now. The conservative movement is in such lockstep that when Kavanaugh speaks to them, he doesn't even have to say out loud that he'll do what they want.
Can you think of a case that deserves to be overturned?
Yes.
Would you volunteer one?
No.
I don't know for sure that he was talking about overturning Roe v. Wade there, but I do know that whenever a room full of white guys in suits start giggling like that, I get real nervous for my pussy. Thank you. That's nice. It's true that Roe v. Wade might not get completely overturned, but with Kavanaugh dragging the court to the right, it will at least get tipped over. Anti-choicers could use any abortion case to weaken it, chipping away to make abortion effectively illegal in much of the U.S. State legislators have been prepping for a conservative court longer and more intensely than I've been prepping for my high school reunion. The next time I walk into that Degrassi gymnatorium, Jimmy is going to get me so pregnant. States have already been pushing the limits, finding ways to make abortion abortion de facto illegal, or at least profoundly complicated and traumatic, like in Mississippi and Louisiana, where it's illegal to terminate a pregnancy after 15 weeks, or Iowa, where the 6-week ban outlaws abortion before most women even know they're pregnant, or Kansas, which makes abortion illegal the second your boyfriend rolls you into the wet spot and falls asleep. States have enacted extreme, cruel, and unconstitutional laws, but they feel confident because they believe the Supreme Court could uphold them in the face of legal challenges. And if Roe is completely overturned, things could be even worse, even faster. 4 states would have trigger laws that go into effect, which would immediately ban abortion. 10 states have abortion bans from before Roe v. Wade that are still state law, and abortion would likely be illegal in at least 22 states if Roe were overturned. So if you're in the middle of the country, it is a long drive to anywhere with abortion care. The least Instagrammable road trip ever. Now, obviously, that is going to affect poor rural women, particularly women of color, more than anyone else. Meanwhile, a wealthy person like, let's say, publicly anti-choice politician Tim Murphy could still hypothetically send his mistress to a state where it's legal to have an abortion, as if mistresses weren't expensive enough already. So if you're concerned about women losing a right that we've had for a generation, be vocal about it. March, call your representatives, and for Lilith Fair's sake, vote. You probably live in a state with a governor, a legislator, or both that are hostile to your abortion rights, and if Roe falls, that is who decides what happens in your uterus. Now is the exact time to get maximum hysterical, because if we don't, the future looks pretty sad for women. And get ready for men to tell it to smile more. We'll be right back.